Hi, I'm Janina, and today on Janinigans, I'm going to give you a little tour of my pegboard. So this is the SKÅDIS pegboard from Ikea. There's 4 of them, and they're, I think, about $30 a piece. Essential to staying organized with any craft, but especially when you're someone like me who has multiple crafts and you just want to reach for that tool that you need to help keep you motivated and going. So let's take a closer look on what I have on here. These are what I consider my essential minimum tools that I need to do the things that I do. There's a few different accessories you can buy for this. First, they've got these nice little cups that slide in and out. Those are probably my favorite, and I've got my sewing clips in the first one. I'm constantly grabbing this, putting it next to my sewing machine, and then as I'm taking clips off my fabric, just dump it right back in here. Got bigger versions of those. I've got some tailor's chalk to mark up fabrics, binding making clips in different sizes, measuring tapes, soft ones, which are super essential for almost everything I do. And these are refills for razor blades. Got my rotary cutter refills and then my plastic razor blade refills. Lots of safety pins, 2 different varieties. This is a curved safety pin specifically for quilting and making your quilt sandwich. And then I've got some large ones that don't have that curve in there. I kind of consider this my sewing region overall. I've got my rotary cutters, a big one, a small one. These are amazing little clips. Another measuring tape, and then a magnetic board. And this is what I was really excited about when I got this because it's a great way to store all your different scissors. And if you're someone that does a lot of projects, you know that you have a lot of scissors and it accumulates. So I've got a variety of fabric scissors here, some that are offset so that you don't have to lift your wrist in a weird way. This is a flat piece of steel from my grandfather's shop that is useful for various things. A few different pliers that I use all the time, especially this one. Paper scissors, because you don't want to mix those up. And then this is also a couple of cool things from my grandfather's workshop that I have yet to use because I just brought it with me last time, but figured that could be useful. Small scissors for paper, small snips for fabric and thread. That's an awl that I use to help push fabric down when I'm sewing. Then we've got another awl, a little tiny flathead, and 2 other flatheads that are specifically, or I use them specifically for changing the feet of my sewing machine. I got these at an estate sale and I love how they have the wood handles. And then got a Phillips screwdriver. This tool I thought would be really useful. I bought it at, I think, Joann about a year ago, and it's like a slap bracelet. It is a slap bracelet with a magnet on there so that you can put your pins on it. As you're sewing, you can remove them and just keep track of them there or grab them off of it. But I never really use it, so we'll see. It's probably because I don't use pins a lot. Heading on over here to my cups. So these stay in there, but I've organized them by type. These are just regular pens, pencils, highlighters, just things that I would grab. And then over here are Sharpies in different colors. I've got some chalk pencils and water-soluble markers in here that I use for making my little marks on fabric. Here's some more tools for sewing, including one of my all-time favorite tools, that West Sky. When we first got the sewing machine, I use this for literally every project that I do. It's just a little measuring tool, but I love that you can slide this to where you want, like if you want 2 inches, and then you can just press that up against your edge and get your perfect mark. Sewing gauge is what it's called. This one I also love. It's just a little seam turner, so if you've got corners that you want to turn inside out, you kind of put this inside and you give that a nice stick there. You like sort it And then you can get nice
sorted.
You know,
Stab it.
Stab it. That's the one. You stab it, and then you get some nice clean corners with it. So you got to be careful that you don't rip right through it. But it's super useful. So for sewing, these are my go-tos. I don't do anything without them. Love them. This is my little Cricut toolkit. I've got a bunch of stuff, most of which I don't use. Really, just this guy is the main Cricut tool, and tweezers. I love using tweezers for the little pieces. That's also what I have the rollers for, so I like to use those to stick the little tiny pieces to as I'm doing that. So I've got one that I use for fabric lint rolling and one that I use for Cricut stuff. I've got some more measuring tools and a hammer in here. I love this ruler. It's a flexible one, which I never knew existed until recently. And then over here, this is kind of like the essentials of like hair ties. Gotta have hair ties. Sticky notes, some chapstick, lotion, our very precious Yikes eraser that Wes saved from his childhood. It's a real classic. Looks like he poked it with a pencil there at some point. I don't actually use this. This is just to remind me where I came from, the 90s. And then right next to that, I've got my little caboodle sticky thing that fell off of the caboodle, and we'll find a project to put that onto. Over here we got some tape, really nifty little removable tape dispenser that clips on my table and you don't have to worry about it sliding around, so that's nice. This is another magnetic holder for pins that I found at an estate sale, and again, I haven't really used very much, but I think I'd probably be more likely to use that. And I love how the pins stay in the same orientation because of how the magnet is positioned. And then another completely essential tool, my cutting mat that I use for every single sewing project and pretty much every video I've done so far. I love that I can hang it on here. It helps to not warp it because that's the worst when those get a warp in it. This is a quilter's press, another estate sale find. Have yet to try it out, but it's a nice little tiny surface that you can iron onto. So if you don't want to pull out your entire ironing board, you can just use that, and it's got all the measurements right on there for you. I've got my quilting ruler. Love this thing. It's another really useful item to have, so that paired with the mat, I would say essential. And then over here I've got my various Cricut cutting mats. I've got the different soft grip and regular grip and different sizes. Another nice thing to have hanging flat that would normally take up a lot of room. Don't have to worry about it creasing. And then these are really cool. So this is a bobbin holder. And I love this because it really keeps that bobbin thread organized. So I'll show you the one that's actually filled with stuff. It's still a mess, but at least it's a contained mess in here. All right, moving on over to this section. We got some more of these pull-out cups here. These are fabric weights that I made a while back. This was a tutorial I found from Tilly and the Buttons where she recommended buying washers and stacking them and then wrapping them in fabric and then gluing them. So I use those all the time too. And then some more disposable items up here. We got cotton rounds, Q-tips, and alcohol wipes. All very useful. I bought some zippers kind of recently in bulk, so I have those up here. They're all the same. And then these are D-rings for bag making. Rubber bands. I never really used these rubber bands, so I think I'll probably swap this out pretty soon, maybe for my rubber gloves, which I need a lot. This is a tailor's ham. Don't really glove this spot yet, but the nice thing about this board is that you can have it ever evolve and keep changing things based on what works and what your new hobbies are. So this, for now, I leave it up here, but this can also be used for storing like a pattern maybe that you're working on. anything really. Nice paper storage. I've got a 3D printed zipper tool. So this is to help when you're making your own zippers. Or if you have zipper tape, you can use this to attach the zipper to zipper tape. Very nifty. And then Wes 3D printed me some thread holders, which I want to get more of because there's not a lot on here. So I'm gonna probably remove the tailor's ham pretty soon and kind of expand my thread over here. It's nice to have that overview. This is just a cute little seam ripper that I got recently that I'm really digging. It's really cute. Some more tools. This is a seam roller. So if you're not able to press your seams, you can just roll them open like this, depending on what type of fabric that you're using. A little electric screwdriver. Never know when you might need that. And then these are nifty for just holding some patterns. So I've got the ingredients, the material list for Adam Savage's apron, which I want to make at some point. Some snacks, because who doesn't need some sugar while they're sewing or creating things. Disposable little mini cups, excellent for mixing paints, glues, whatever your heart desires. X-Acto blade and knife, which fits nicely in this 3D printed tool. So over here you're going to see a lot of 3D printed stuff that Wes made me. These are really useful just to hold various things. So I've got lens wipes in this one. And then this is another really cool tool that I use a lot and Wes uses a lot. It's a plastic razor blade. So it's great for getting different glues and goos off of your material, especially if it's like, you know, like a price sticker, stuff like that. It's just excellent. You don't have to worry about cutting yourself, which I have done.
Cutting the, you know, material, like cutting the object.
And cutting the object. Got a little bit of wax, which I don't remember what we were using this for. Magic erasers, my favorite cleaning tool, and I use it to restore my American Girl doll. I use it constantly to wipe things off. You never know when you might need this guy. This is a weight that I use when I need kind of something extra heavy duty for fabric weight when these guys don't do the trick. And I usually put that down in the middle. It's nice and heavy, 3 pounds. Sandpaper block and some more sandpaper up here. This should actually be with that. Got my little cricket friend that I got from my friend. Thanks, Rumble. And he lives over here and watches over everything. Of course, I need the classic pin cushion, tomato pin cushion, and some needles. And then I've got some more seam rippers over here and some thimbles, different types. These are some more of the boxes that Wes 3D printed me. They're called Gridfinity boxes. They've got this little bottom to them that keep them in place, and then you can just print them in different sizes. We have these all over the place. They're super, super nifty. Got some more of those up here. Haven't fully figured out what to use everything for, but right now I've got some toothpicks in this one, and then some screws that I need to replace up here. It's nice sometimes just to have them when you're taking something apart, just to be able to organize yourself and keep track of the different hardware. Some medical skin tape that I use for my microphone. I have to keep that here or else I'll lose it. A couple of colored pencils, and then some really, really cheap brushes and a spray of water. Toothbrush is just for various things. That should actually have its own little spot. There we go. Cleaning, textures, whatever you need it for. All right, that was the Grand Pegboard tour, and I really recommend this product. I think it's essential for me to keep me organized, especially having multiple hobbies that I love to do. It not only motivates me to get started because everything is right there, but it also is easy to clean up afterwards. You just grab it and then put it right back where you left it. I think the whole thing was probably around $200 with all the little accessories, but you can really accessorize and customize how you want. I would recommend that you plan that out before you make your trip over to Ikea. It gets a little bit overwhelming once you're there, But I will link everything that IKEA sells that I have below, and then I'll link some of the cool tools that I have too. If there's anything specifically that you want me to link, let me know. And I'd love to know what's on your pegboard and what you think I'm missing. So let me know in the comments below. And I will see you guys next week. Bye.